that tefillas, shachris and mincha are cheva, are an obligation. Tefillas arvis is called rishus. So Chassidus explains, what does it mean rishus? Rishus means optional. What does it mean? When we speak about something that's an obligation, it's within a certain structure, and because a person is able to accomplish something, so therefore is dependent on the actions of the person, and the person is obliged to do it. When we speak about something which is higher than coming down in vessels, it's called rishus. It is completely not within the structure and reach of the person. So therefore, the person, arvis is not something which is a cheva, because it is not something that it was given originally. The ma'ariv, the evening prayer, was not given originally as a prayer. The person is obligated to do it like the others, because this is such a level that how much he will accomplish, he won't really draw down the spiritual revelation that's involved in it. Okay, now we get back b'negia to the Lekutit. So we find here also what cheva means. Cheva means that there's a certain limitation. Because when we see cheva, the Rebbe says in Lekutit Sichas, that we say something is an obligation, that means there's a standard expectation, standard command. Because if it wouldn't be standard, you can't say cheva that everybody is equal in it. That Klal Yisrael, everybody is obligated in that. The same way that we find in regards to hakofis, find that the joy of there's in Simchas Torah, in Sukkot itself, there are different levels of simcha. There's the level of Minatera v'samachta b'chagecha. A person should rejoice in his Yom Tov, in his holiday. Then comes Beis HaShe'eva, a greater joy. Then comes the extreme joy of Simchas Torah. What is the extreme joy? So Chassidus explains. It comes to one of them is a mitzvah, a commandment from the Torah. Samachta b'chagecha, you should rejoice. All the Yomim Tovim, especially Sukkot, where it says 3 times, v'samachta, you should rejoice. Then comes Simchas Beis HaShe'eva. It's a higher level. It's a level already that the Simcha is greater, and not everybody was able to be included in that, just the great sages and others, as the Talmud tells us. Then comes a joy which everybody could participate, and that joy is boundless, has no limitations. That is Simchas Torah. So Chassidus asks the question, why is it that when it comes to the Yom Tov of Sukkot, which is Minat Torah, so it's obligated, everybody's obligated. So that joy does not reach the joy of Simchas Torah. So the answer is because of this reason. Because something that is Minat Torah is standard. It's standard that everybody should have access to it and everybody should be able to fulfill it. But when something is a custom, it is completely carried away on the part of Yidden themselves. Yidden themselves accomplish this Simcha. And therefore it is dependent completely on their feeling. Therefore, it is something that is higher than limitation. So therefore we could find, this is a certain answer to the question, but we're going to get to the answer soon, that we can find that sometimes, although it's a cheva, it's an obligation, but sometimes rishus could even be higher yet, because it's not bounded by the halachas, but he's doing even more than halacha demands from him. Now we're going to get to the chiyuv and shlila, positive and negative.
I have a question about the tefillas reshus, alvis. If we don't have the capability of, I don't know, it's too high for us, and that's why there's no chiyuv. So how come we daven? Okay,
that's why I was constantly saying originally. Originally it was like that, but then the Gemara tells us in Brachas ha'idna kavu ha'cheva. Now, in the present, it became an obligation like everything else, which means that a person, bepashtas al pichsidus, has the potential to be able to accomplish what needs to accomplish. Or they at least characterize it, classified it as an obligation. But this is basically what rishus always means. Rishus means it comes from such a place that is not dependent on the aveda and service of a person. For example, when Yidden was standing by Kriyas Yamsuf, so it says over there, Mati tzakei loi, dvadabrel b'nei Yisrael v'yisol. No, it says over there, before that it says, that Hashem yilochem lachem v'atem tacharishon. That Eibishter will wage war and you'll be quiet. So what does it say in Targum? V'atun leitisarun midi. You shouldn't do any awakening. You shouldn't do any initiative on your part. Because, as Chassidus explains in Kabbalah, this comes from such a place that is completely not dependent on the Aveda, the initiative of the creation, of Yidden, of the Jewish nation, in this case. Now we go on to the inyan of Chiyuv and Shlila, how Shlila is higher, and how it is reflected also in understanding something. Shlila is the negative understanding. There's two ways of understanding something. There's a positive understanding something, there's a negative way of understanding something. It is called in Chkira. In philosophy, it's called Hasogas HaChiyuv and Hasogas HaShlila. Understanding Chiyuv, understanding Shlila.
Chiyuv?
Chiyuv means a positive, understanding the positive. In a positive way, or understanding it in a negative way. So Tzem Alter Rebbe brings in Likutei Torah, beginning of Pekudei, that what does it mean? It is like, for example, there are certain things that we can understand it in a positive way. We're able to understand it, we're able to relate to it, because these are things that through an example, a parable, or in real life, we understand what they are. So we're able to understand it. Then, there are certain concepts that are higher, deeper, removed beyond our understanding, beyond our world, and therefore, the way that we could understand it is, if it is not through understanding it in a spiritual sense, the spiritual features of it and aspects of it, it is by understanding what it is not. That's called Hasogas HaShlila. For example, you want to understand something, and you know that it's higher than that, you say, you know what, it's not that, and it's not that, it's not that, it's not that, but you can't really know what it is. It's like the highest in Yonim, the highest levels in godliness, is understood in a way of negating other things and eliminating other concepts. And that's how you get some kind of understanding, but indirect. You can't point with the finger. So therefore here, we understand that the way of understanding something in this physical world or something that's close to us is in a positive understanding. There's a vessel how to understand it. We have a vessel that we can, with which we can comprehend it. And when there is something that is higher than that, so as the Rebbe explains in a MaMaar Basi Ligani in 1955, in Hasidic Discourse, when the Rebbe speaks there about the inyan of Shlila and also the inyan of Dira V'Tachuteina, making a dwelling place for Hashem, so the Rebbe says, what is the way of the dwelling place of Hashem is that since we are taking something that's higher than understanding, so we also have to become a vessel in a way of bittul, in a state of nullification. Completely bottle, in order to completely nullify, to be in a vessel, to receive something that is Hasogas HaShlila, that we ourselves don't even know what it is. And therefore, through Yedias HaShlila, through negating and eliminating other concepts, we can reach a level that is higher than the format of higher than we would understand something through the format of a positive, direct comprehension. So this is what the Rebbe says here. Since their source is higher, and therefore we can make a vessel to the revelation that is done through them, through Asiyah, and it is accomplished dafka through Shlila, through a negative way. Through the inyan of Yedias HaShlila shal yodem asigim l'mayla mebi Yedias HaChiyuv. The dafka through the Yedias HaShlila, through negating something through no understanding something, in a way that he eliminates everything else in order that he should have some kind of idea what it is. So through this we understand it higher than we would understand through the format of a direct approach, direct understanding, a positive understanding. Masigim l'mayla mebidias achiyuv, because Yedias achiyuv, understanding something in a positive way, is something that we can relate to it. Something that is close in our world, or something that we can at least reach in a positive, direct way. But to understand something that is beyond our understanding, so this is by eliminating the other concepts till we get some kind of a idea of what it is, or what it is not. So from this we understand how spiritual it is. That this is also the union of Hishapche, converting darkness to light, that through this comes down a higher revelation. A higher and a greater revelation. Because this is also the same idea, that he takes something and he converts it. B'meila, he completely takes it out from its structure, from its vessel, from its whole framework which it existed in, and b'meilei he makes himself a vessel to bring down a light which is also higher than vessel.